This is Locked On NFL Players Squad Show, where real players talk real football. No filters, no fluff. Just raw insight straight from the guys who've been in the trenches, in the locker room, and under the lights. You want the truth about a game? You're in the right place. It's the NFL Players Squad on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's going on, folks? Welcome in another episode of the NFL Players Squad Show. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first lineup. We had Week 12 NFL action go on. A lot of big wins for some teams. You had a couple of powerhouses take some L's on the road. There was a young superstar, got his first win up there in Cleveland. And then, the playoff picture is kind of making its way open. It's kind of clarifying for us a little bit here. We got on the show today, Mr. Bradford Banta, going from up there in Detroit. What's going on? How you doing, sir?
Hey, Double A. How are we doing today?
I am good, man. We'll talk about your Lions and their performance. Mark Collins in the building, two-time Super Bowl champ with the Giants. Good to see you, sir.
Ed, what's up, my brother?
Man, I'm doing good. Just getting tuned up and warmed up for Thanksgiving. Coach Scanina, Jeff Scanina down there. Z, how you doing, my man?
Oh, I'm good. Just trying to stay warm up here in Chicago right now.
Yeah, there ain't no choice. Ain't no warm in stock is out up there in Chicago. Jamil Douglas, 7 years in the league, y'all. What's going on? How are you?
Hey, man, I am actually warm. It's 75 and sunny out here in Arizona, so doing good.
Don't nobody ain't looking and bragging. I had a hailstorm yesterday, a random hailstorm at 5:15 in the morning. It sounded like 20 kids throwing gravel at the house. We've had all type of crazy weather, but let's get this party started, man. Up there in Cleveland, we don't usually start off with the Cleveland Browns, but I want to give this young man some praise because his head coach didn't. Shedeur Sanders got his first win as a rookie. He got his first win as a starter. This thing hasn't happened since 1995. I think it was Eric Zaire. Anybody remember that name, Eric Zaire? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got his first win. You don't. Yeah, Jamil doesn't know as well. He wasn't even alive at that time. But Shedeur Sanders getting his first win as a starter.
University of Georgia.
In the locker room. That's Eric Zaire. In the locker room. Just how do you feel as a player? I want to know how you feel as a player. You've had your young quarterback get a big win. You win at number one. It's your rookie quarterback starting, but he doesn't get a game ball. How does that make you feel, Jamil?
Well, at first I was wondering, when I saw the clip, I thought he would give him a game ball, big time. And I wouldn't say big time, but a big win considering where he was drafted. And we all know the storyline within Shedeur Sanders' career so far. But then you go back and you see that he didn't give Dillon Gabriel a game ball either on his first win. So that may just be Kevin Stefanski's style. But he did acknowledge and say, hey, we had a rookie step up and win his game. Sometimes you got to take those things. I didn't take it out of context, but I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts on if he should have got a game ball.
Yeah, I mean, I can say I didn't see that clip, and I didn't know the thing about Dillon Gabriel, so that's big to see. But even as a player, I don't know. I feel like you would think that the quarterback would have gotten one, especially a congratulatory thing. Even as a rookie, and I would have fought for Dillon Gabriel to get one too, in my opinion. I mean, Mark, what do you think?
I think that stuff doesn't bother me. If he did the same thing with Gabriel, cool. The biggest part that I took from that. Did you see how that locker room and that sideline rallied behind him? That means more to me than a flipping game ball at the end of the season. That tells me that Shedeur Sanders has complete backing of his teammates. We'll see how far it goes, but I've seen that. So I give a damn about him getting the game ball. I mean, it's a game ball. They could come and go. But that support he has and belief from his rank and file, oh, man, that's huge.
Z, what does that mean to have that for your young player to have everybody rally behind him like that?
Oh, that's great. I mean, the kid got lucky by playing the Raiders, to be quite honest.
I mean, I don't care. Don't nobody care.
It's the Texans or the Broncos, some of these teams that got some, or the Rams,
He's got the Niners coming up this week, so Robert
exactly
Saleh will definitely be scheming up for him.
We'll rattle him a little bit, but it's great. It's great confidence for him. I mean, Cleveland's buzzing. They're saying, so I mean, it's gonna be, a better game, because that defense, again, the game ball goes to Myles Garrett every week up there. So it's kind of hard to give anybody else a game ball.
How the hell you block that guy?
That dude, 18 sacks, with five games to go, that's impressive. And he's, with the offense not doing anything. It's not like, they're giving them points to, put your ears back. They're stopping the run, and that dude is just a freak.
Yeah, he's one of those profile fillers as a coach. You know what I mean? Like coached Myles Garrett to 18 sacks and not even the full season. You know what I mean? You feel that way. Hell, Brad, you gotta. Well, how do you stop Myles Garrett? What are you thinking? How do you stop that guy? How do you slow him? 18 sacks is ridiculous.
You don't.
Right?
Put it plain and simple. Look, I was with Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns. I was with him up in Detroit, and we had Ndamukong, we had Fairley, we had a host of guys, and Jim being down, and then he had exposure down in Tennessee as well with the defense down there, and he's always run a successful defense. But the thing about Jim is that he knows how to scheme up to free players. And whenever he has a player of that talent level, he aligns him in so many different places on the field, and it's hard to get a bead on where Myles Garrett is going to be, and he does his best to put him in a one-on-one situation. And that's what you're looking for, and that's where he thrives.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where I being on the offensive side, you're in the offensive meeting, and there's that one player on the defensive side where like you always got to identify this person. You got to always know where he is. You got to always assign 2 people to him, 3 people to him. And Myles Garrett is that dude. I'm interested to see how Cleveland rides, though. I've had this weird theory that is Any Given Sunday reenacted. Like, y'all remember Any Given Sunday?
Oh yeah.
Think about when the season started.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco was the quarterback, and then he had all this buzz, and he was like, why is this man here? Willie Beeman all the way in the back, wasn't getting no love. Joe Flacco was leading the way. That's Cap and Rooney. That's Cap. Now he's gone, and here comes Gabriel. Next thing you know.
What I found interesting, is Dylan Gabriel's out of concussion protocol. They named Shedeur the starter. Previous to that, I think Stefanski had been it wasn't as black and white in terms of how he felt about the starting quarterback. It was always, Dylan's our guy, he's going to start. And now that they're both healthy, coming off of this win, Shedeur is a starter. So I'm interested to see how that whole thing plays out, because you got 2 young quarterbacks that you drafted in the same round. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Well,
that pisses me off.
I've heard, it's a power struggle too, 'cause the head coach picked Dylan and the GM picked, Sanders. So, I'm sure the head coach is like, all right, we're going to get the Niners this week, a little better defense. Let's roll him out there and see what he really is, because it could be like, I told you so, who knows?
Is there space for that? I mean, given where like Kevin Stefanski's, I don't want to say his job is on the line, but obviously Cleveland hasn't won in a very long time. And is there space for him to say like, I told you so by rolling him out there? Or would you think that he would want him to win?
Well, I think he wants him to win, but it also he's got to show it off. It's like he listened, again, that wasn't my pick. That's why he was rolling with the other kid, even though come out of training camp, you thought it was the other way around, but it is what it is, so he's not going to physically say it to the guy, but he's going to put a little feather in his cap, maybe, make him feel better about it. I hope the guy goes out and he has success on Sunday. I hope he beats the Niners,
Well, I do too. But at the end of the day, you got 2 young quarterbacks, right? We know playing the long game, one of those guys is not going to be there. So whoever plays, this is just like auditioning for other teams. So we want success for Sanders and Gabriel, but at the long game, one of those guys are not going to be there because they both can play. It's who fits Stefanski's offense best. That's what it comes to. I would digress and even say who excites the fans more. How can Cleveland market one of these guys better than the other? All that stuff comes into play.
I mean, if you go in there, I think it makes sense which direction you're going to.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah,
you're right now. I mean, hey, with the storyline and how everything is kind of grown over the off season, it's kind of come to this point where it's like, all right, I think you kind of have to ride this one out. But in the locker room, I could say having the indecision at that position, regardless of the record, is frustrating, and it's something that you want to just know who's going to be the starter so we can go in every week. So I'm gonna at least say I give a hat tip to making the decision to keep Shedeur in there. I think he deserves. He's played well. How do y'all feel about losing your job to injury? I know that's a thing. Some coaches say no. Some coaches say yeah. Wait, what do you think?
Hey, that's just
I think you
goes.
play a hot hand. That's all you do.
Yeah. That's just how it goes. That's how the table turns sometimes, and you can't be mad at it if you miss the time and someone goes in there, they perform better. That's just how it goes.
Man.
Hell.
If that horse is winning,
yeah,
you keep riding that horse, right?
Yeah.
We saw what happened when Belichick and the Patriots, when Bledsoe got hurt and the Patriots went on that run with Tom Brady.
A long run. That was a long run.
There was no coming back.
Yeah. I mean, Mark, the same thing when I was in St. Louis, and Trent Green went down in preseason.
Yeah.
He won with Kurt Warner, who was bagging groceries 2 months ago, and next thing you know, Trent's in Kansas City.
Crazy. Life comes at you fast, man. And then you Anthony, Super Bowl.
Getting to your point, talking about power struggle. I was in Washington whenever the whole RG3 and Kirk Cousins things went down, and I was on the coaching staff then, and everybody just sat around because Jay wanted Kirk and Dan wanted RG3, and Dan put his foot down and said, "Okay, it's going to be Robert," and you could just feel the wind in the meeting room just kind of get taken out of the sails whenever that announcement was made, because Kurt was hot at that time. And then, right, wrong, and different. I believe Robert got injured again, and then Kurt came in for the long haul, and we ended up making it to the playoffs that year. So it's interesting to watch the politics take place behind the scenes.
Yeah. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And they also have Thanksgiving football wagering available. So if you want to get in on that Green Bay Detroit game, or maybe the Baltimore and the Bengals game, you have that action. But even if you missed the start of the game and you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score the next touchdown or who will even have the fourth quarter comeback. Plus, you can even combine some of those live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout. And so, like I said, Packers, Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals, Ravens, all going down on Thursday, Thanksgiving. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers, $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go ahead to FanDuel.com, sign up, and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. What do y'all think about this? The new owner, Jim Irsay's daughter, and I apologize, I'm not knowing, I can't remember her name right now, but she's been on the sideline all year. She's wearing headsets. She's very much involved in everything. I ain't gonna say that it's necessarily been the reason for their success, but what do y'all think about that? Seeing an owner being that involved, in the day-to-day and really the play-by-play happenings of your team.
I love it. Personally, I love it. I mean, I've played in a season where I didn't see the owner one time besides training camp to give you the speech of like, this is what we do. We want to have a good year. I'll see you guys at the end of the year.
Shake his hand real quick as you go in.
Yeah, exactly. So or her hand. But yeah, I've been on those teams, and not to say that it matters to players in terms of like when you see the owner, but you do love to see her with the headset on, and the interviews that I've seen, she's knowledgeable about the game and what she's hearing on the headset, and then also from a organization standpoint, just the money that you're kicking out to certain people, you want to be assured that things are going the right way, and not just trust what you're hearing through the headlines. So I love it personally. I love that she's on the sidelines doing that.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's kind of like the Lakers, with Bus.
Yeah,
I mean, she was in all that stuff now. I know she just sold a team, made a bunch of money,
$1 billion.
But still, though, I mean, it's nice that as a player, like when I was in St. Louis as a player, Georgia Frontier was there maybe once a year. Stan Kroenke was around a lot more because he lived in Missouri and he would stop in more, but you never saw the owners, And then you go to the Texans when I was playing. The McNairs are there every day, kind of like the Joneses in Dallas. They're there every day. You see them every day on the practice field, in meetings, and all that. The Mara, same thing in New York, You go through the draft process with them. Mr. Mara knows his stuff now. Oh, yeah. He can rattle off, he watches tape. He makes his own write-ups and everything. I was like, holy cow, because he'd pull out a big binder and he started rapping about somebody, right before the pick, you
he got Mark Collins bio. What did he write up on Mark Collins?
that Mark Collins was a damn good player.
Yeah, let's go.
I tell you, by her being on the sideline, I think it's cool, but it is what it is. Whether with the Giants or Chiefs or whatever, if I saw the owner on the sideline before the game, cool. Okay. But then get your ass back upstairs. Let me do my job. I appreciate her being on the sideline because we never saw her when Jim was alive, right? On the sideline. To me, it shows she's invested in this business. She wants to know everything about it. And I love that. But when the game is going on, please, Mrs. Owner, go back upstairs, watch from afar, and let the guys do their thing. I'm not saying she belongs on the sideline, but I'm gonna call it this. I call it, if Jerry Jones could take his ass up on the sideline and everybody else, I think she should too when the game is going on.
Yeah. I will say. They probably want to. Jerry want to call a player too. That's the difference. Jerry want to call a player.
He probably does.
Mark, so, I would have to disagree with you a little bit. Just past history with the Colts, playing there and then kind of keeping in touch with friends that I still have there. Whenever Bob Irsay passed away in 96, 97, somewhere around there, and then Jim took over the team. He always had his daughters around, but as Jim got older, the three girls were involved with the organization, and he had a succession plan, and he put that in place early on. I would say I'm not sure exactly whenever they came on board, maybe 2010, somewhere around there, but they were involved in the business some way, shape, or form. Now, Carly got more involved in the ownership aspect of it, whereas the other girls, I know one is more involved in the philanthropy, and I'm not sure about the third. I'm not sure. But now that she is owner and the one signing the checks, she wants to learn as much as she can. That's what I said. Yeah. But as opposed to Jerry Jones, you never see her. She's listening to what's going on game day. You never see her like actively involved in being like, why the heck are we calling this play? She's not. She's taking notes, and what she does like with those notes, it's kind of a let's see, nose in, hands off type approach, where she's learning about it and she wants to understand the ball more. Yeah. And I say kudos to her. It works for her. It doesn't work for every owner, but it works for her. And I think Shane does a good job of incorporating and accepting her. I mean, he better accept her because she's signing the checks. But but it's just kind of interwoven in their DNA that she's going to be there.
That's something I can respect it, because I think that when you got $1 billion business, it makes sense to at least get to know the inner workings of it. I like the fact that she can point to say, hey, on this 3rd and 8, this happened, but you said this happened. And she's on the headset. She's even said, I want to know what they're saying. Like, don't
that's a lot. That's a lot.
Mark, I don't think she's necessarily trying to be able to break it down and get on the board.
I know, I'm just saying.
I think it just makes sense to be like, you can't just say, if they were like, man, Mark Collins has just been messing up all the time, we need to cut Mark Collins. She's like, well, I was on the sideline and he seemed to have been performing well.
Well, I get that. I get that aspect. I get that aspect of it. I'm just saying, to her, for her to learn. I mean, great to learn the integral parts of the game. I'm cool with that. But when we start nitpicking, calling plays, which she doesn't do like a Jerry Jones. Then start to go, well, this guy makes all this money and I'm on the field, I don't see this, whatever. I think as an owner, she hires people to do that. That's why she has a staff. That's what organizations have, recruiting staffs and managers and general managers and stuff to do that. When an owner starts doing that kind of stuff, they become micromanagers. And you usually don't have great success. If you're in big business, and which this is big business, you won't have the same way. So that's what I'm saying. Cool. Learn the game all you want. I love it. I really do. But when you go to the depths of start nitpicking and, I pay this person X amount of $1 million, I'm not seeing this or whatever, it's kind of taken away from her being the owner and taking the job from other people who could be doing that kind of stuff. That's all.
And that, I agree with you 100%. And that's whenever you have somebody that works close with you to be like, whenever that does happen, you're talking about the micromanaging, then they have to have, as Troy Aikman would say, the onions to say, back off. It's time for the people that you hired to do the job.
Gotta let the folks do what they came to do.
More, so, yeah.
Yeah, I think we kind of agree it's a good thing. It's different, right? It's not something that we've seen. We've only seen meddling owners. We've never seen someone be so inquisitive and say, I just kind of want to know what's going on. Frankly, other owners like, I got enough money to pay for the team, and I know what I want to do with it. So do what I tell you. She's at least like, let me learn what you're doing first. So I can appreciate it from there. But, hey, the Colts are doing good. They're rolling, and they did just lose in overtime against Kansas City. So the hell, I might as well take a little segue, talk about some AFC and NFC playoff pictures going on right now. The Colts are rolling. Do you think the Chiefs have a chance to make some magic happen? They're working from the outside in. Jamil, what you think?
I mean, look, we talked about this the other week, and they showed signs of life last week. I mean, they came back, they beat the Colts. The Colts are a legitimate playoff contender. At first, I thought this was just like a couple game stretches where they were just playing really good football, and then you go on to see them kind of just evolve throughout the season. They got a run game, defense plays well. Daniel Jones has taken that next step as a quarterback, and so I thought there would be a regression. There hasn't been. I know they lost. The Chiefs came back, but they're still a bona fide contender in the playoffs. And as far as the Chiefs, man, I just can't count them out. They scratch, they claw, they fight, they figure out ways to be in games. And I know they've lost a lot of close games, but that means that they've been in these games. And so when they have Pat Mahomes back there and the great coaches that they have between Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo, like, I can't count them out. I know at some point the percentages are going to be whether they make it or not will be definitive, but I can't count them out right now.
Colts are looking good. I mean, I'm looking at their schedule right quick to share their remaining games. They have the Texans twice. They got the Jaguars twice, the Seahawks, and they have the 49ers. So if you're going to be a good team, we're
going to find out right now.
We're find out. These next 6 games, my gosh. That's tough.
I was at the game, the Kansas City Colts game. And I'm going to tell you something. The Colts, they have no weaknesses.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't. strong running game, strong offensive line, very good receivers, and a solid-ass defense. When the Colts got Sauce Gardner, they're in it to win it this year, maybe next year. They're in it to win it. That's what they're saying. So watching them play against the Chiefs, very solid. And I was saying on some other shows, if the Chiefs could stop the running game, because right now, Taylor looks like he's an MVP the way he's running the ball. Mm-hmm. He's running the ball very effectively. If they can stop the running game and make Daniel Jones throw, they have a shot to win. And that's what they did. Daniel Jones, he doesn't suck. He's very methodical. He knows what he's doing with the ball. Daniel Jones, if you put all the pressure on him to win a game, he can't do it. He can't. I've seen him play in New York. I've seen him. But you put a running back like Jonathan Taylor behind him and that offensive line, and they do those stretch plays on you. Yeah. Shit, this is how it is.
Yeah.
But they're very solid. So, as far as the Chiefs, they go 6-1 this stretch. They got a legitimate shot to make the playoffs. You go 5-2. Last year, the cut line was 10 in the AFC, and that's because the Texans won 10 games to win their division. So I don't know what the cut line is going to be. You don't know.
Yeah, here's what the Chiefs have remaining. They got a Thursday night Thanksgiving game against the Cowboys. Then they have a game against Houston, a game against the Chargers, Broncos, Titans, and the Raiders. So there's a couple of games in there. You got to think Titans, Raiders should be some dubs. The Chiefs, the Broncos, Chargers, and the Texans will all be tough. And hell, the way Dallas just got done playing, right? Dallas just got playing, really well against Philly.
Yeah,
so that's a quick segue. We'll talk about that in a second. But I don't know, man. It's tough.
For the Chiefs, it's a must-win Thursday. They don't win Thursday, they're done. They're done. I don't see them climbing out because, again, when you talk about tiebreakers, the one tiebreaker that the Chiefs could have is 3-1 in that division, the NFC division. When it gets down to those tiebreakers, that's what it's going to come down to. Tiebreakers are big, both in the AFC and the NFC this year because teams are, there's a bunch of good teams, playing well.
Yeah. This is one of them years you mess up. I mean, the AFC North is going to have one team, and it's the Ravens or the Steelers, and they're going to limp in. But the Patriots and then the Bills are 7-4. The AFC South could maybe sneak 3 people in there, like at least a good 2. Like Jaguars are kind of quietly doing their thing as well. It's been interesting. Let's flip over to the NFC side. Let's get Bradford. His Lions, they're sitting at 7-4, third in their division, led by the Bears. Packers are there with that tie with Dallas. The Eagles are taking care of the East. NFC South is kind of close right there, and then the Rams and the Seahawks and the 49ers are doing their thing out west. Bradford, what do you got to do to get out of the doldrums over there for Detroit?
You got to win Thursday. Tomorrow, you got to win this Thursday versus the Packers. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're already down their own 1 versus the Packers. They lost to them week 1 in Lambeau. Now they have them on Thanksgiving Day at home. They have to come out blowing and going. They have to put the Packers away and come out of that game with a win. What does that do? It sets them. They're going to, if they win that game, they're going to be sitting at 8-4. The Packers are going to be at 7-4-1. That means they are back in the wild card picture at that particular time. Right now, sitting at 7-4 and the Packers at 7-3-1, they are out of the playoffs. If we were to go to the playoffs, right now. So this is a must-win game for them. And then they play the following Thursday versus the Cowboys. I believe. Yeah, so that's going to be another game.
And then the Rams.
And the Rams after.
No, it doesn't get any easier.
The Vikings. And the Steelers and the Vikings.
And
the Bears. So
yeah, and everybody was disappointed in the way that they won versus the Giants. Look, I went on the show and I said, I was like, post game, I was like, a win is a win is a win.
Yep.
And you take it and run with it, because now they're sitting at 7-4 and they figured out a way. What did you learn from that victory? Did your team get better? because you won the game. It's easier to look at the film, not that they looked at it much this week, but it's easier to look at the film with a win than it is with a loss. So it's a must-win game this Thursday.
The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And they also have Thanksgiving football wagering available. So if you want to get in on that Green Bay Detroit game, or maybe the Baltimore and the Bengals game, you have that action. But even if you missed the start of the game and you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score the next touchdown or who will even have the fourth quarter comeback. Plus, you can even combine some of those live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout. And so, like I said, Packers, Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals, Ravens, all going down on Thursday, Thanksgiving. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers, $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go ahead to FanDuel.com, sign up, and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Z, who else out the NFC can make some noise, especially when they're looking at in Tampa Bay? The Bucs have dropped 3 straight. They're at 6-5 right now. They were hot. You were thinking MVP race for Baker Mayfield. Things are a little bit different now. Yeah. Well, what do you think going on over there?
I don't know. And now he's got the shoulder. I know it's his off shoulder, right? But still, it's a low sprain, they said, whatever that means. I know he's going to try to probably gut it out and try to play, but that whole thing's open, with Carolina. I thought Carolina did some good things. Yes, they took the ball away last night, but you got to close the deal. With that little quarterback, he's got to be able to make some more plays. To keep this game going. Because again, if they don't get that run game going, they cannot rely on that dude in the passing game right now. No. So that division's all open. Who knows who'll come out of there? I'm sure it's going to be Tampa, but I don't know. The Saints are done, and Atlanta's done, so it's between those two, whoever's going to limp in and, from that division, but out west though, that's where it's at, with the Rams and Seattle, now Frisco making a little bit of noise with all their injuries that they've had. They're still competitive ball, still playing, even though if you ask me, you should put the other quarterback in, because you're throwing 3 picks like that.
Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, talking about the hot hand, huh?
Mac Jones needs
to go back to the hot hand story.
100%.
Yeah, Purdy should have lost his job when he was hurt. I mean, because San Francisco, they were playing pretty well with Mac.
Yeah, well, they paid him $53 million, so
exactly.
They got to justify that paying that money.
Yeah, when that check hits the account,
all that money too.
Exactly, man.
Might have said, "I just justify it next year when you put him in next year. We'll ride the hot hand right now." That would have made some sense. Yeah. Jamil, out of the West, who do you think is going to be that team though? I mean, the Seahawks, they got a defense that can dominate. The Rams, I think the Rams are just Sean McVay just finds a way to turn on the right switches. You know what I mean?
Think the Rams are the best team in the NFC to me. They're the most complete team. They can win many different ways, and that is what's scary. They can run the ball, they can pass the ball, they can stop the run, they can rush the passer. And so when you look at, I thought this past week, I thought we were seeing the resurgence of Philly in the first half of the Cowboy game, and then we see Dallas come back and win, and I was like, okay, this could be, dangerous for the Rams, because we saw what happened last year against Philly. But they've addressed everything they need to address. Devontae Adams is leading the league in 1-yard touchdowns, which is just crazy, out of this world. That's their tush push. Every time they get on the 1-yard line, they throw it to him.
I respect it more than the tush push. I like it.
Yeah, just double the guy out there. But I think, man, that is who I see out the West. The Rams. I don't see anyone as far as experience with Matt Stafford. I don't see anyone beating them unless the Eagles kind of figure it out, because they've been in those big games. But man, it's gotta be the Rams. I don't know who else compares.
I mean, they're lining up against the Panthers coming up this week. Then they have the Cardinals, the big game against the Lions in Week 15. Then they backdoor that on Thursday night with the Seahawks. That was a brutal back-to-back short week set of games. the Falcons on the road, and then at home against the Cardinals to finish the season. So, Sean McVay always has his team ready to go, man. The one thing I remember with him is that dude, when they talk about sleeping at the office, that's what he did when he was in Washington. I'm like, dude, you don't go home? He's like, nah, man, I'm always up here. Little Jack, little swole. It's like, yeah, man, I'm always up here. Like, bro, you need to go home, get some sleep. But it's worked out well for him. He always had his tight ends balling, man. He always did. Yep. Brad, what do you think? Who else? Maybe somebody else coming out of the West that could. I'm sorry, Z. Let me ask Z. Brad had the North. Z, what you think?
Out the West, I like the Rams. I mean, their defense is playing good, and they're young, which helps at this time of year. They're not getting the little nicks from the old guys. I mean, they are rolling. They got Forbes playing even, who I was in Washington with on the staff. When we drafted him, and he didn't do anything there. Now he's like one of the best guys out there. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
So they're playing well, and Stafford is just, an old crusty veteran making all the plays, that's who it is. I don't think the Niners are going to do much because of all the injuries they've had. Yeah. Now it looks like Philly's getting beat up in the back half, with the injuries, coming off that Dallas game, so who knows what's going to happen there, Vic will figure it out, scheme it up really good, but and then, Philly's offense is a mess, They got AJ going early, but then he disappeared, So
I feel like there's too many people they got to feed. You know what I mean?
Well, that and the old line's beat up, so that's not helping. But that's that's why you were talking about the culture earlier. That old line is healthy and very good, and that's what's helping. First time Daniel Jones has had an old line in his career.
True.
True. New York never fixed that problem in 15 years. Which is crazy. So, but so I mean that's what it is. Out west, you got 3 teams. They probably all make it. I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL right now. As long as they stay healthy, as long as that quarterback stays healthy, they're getting the receivers back, and they're balling. So it's going to be hard to stop them,
It definitely is. Let's move over to the NFC East. I kind of like picking on Philly a little bit, just because it's never Philly. I will have lunch with a New York Giants fan, and I will have all of that, but we will never have Philly, never Philly.
I concur.
They dropped the big 21 points mark to the Cowboys. They were up 21-0. We just touching on that.
Yeah.
That concern you? I mean, obviously the top team over here, but what do you think?
Man, listen. Whenever you choke like that, that's always concern. And we can talk about, it's a divisional game. They know each other. Yeah, get it. Got it. Dude, as good as Philly is the same as bad as they really are. They're not intimidating anybody anymore. This isn't last year's Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know what's changed. I have no idea. But they're not the same team. They're not running the ball effectively. There's bickering in the locker room, and sometimes the coach gets involved with some stuff that he has no business being involved in. But with that being said, they're the best team in the NFC, which tells you a lot about the NFC East, rather. It's not very good. So they'll probably be the one going to the playoffs, get a home game, and we'll see what happens. But I'll tell you, maybe you guys chime in if you want, nobody's afraid of the Eagles anymore. No one's, we got Philly coming to town. No, that is gone. All that power and angst has shifted to the West, the NFC West. So that's what I think. You guys chime in.
What do you think? What's the deal with that? Why have they lost their? They don't got no cheese whiz on their cheesesteak anymore.
Well, they got no run game.
Yeah, where the hell? Where is that?
When Barkley was rolling last year, that's what made that team.
Yeah.
You get in those 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s, you do the tush push. Now they're not doing that. They're not getting to there. You don't see a tush push as much as you used to because it's 3rd and long. It's not the 3rd and short or 4th and short. Once that run game went away, they were done because now they're asking a quarterback who's not a very good passer. He doesn't have the touch and everything. He doesn't have that. He's not like a Matthew Stafford or somebody a Josh Allen and all these guys who are good quarterbacks. He's a decent quarterback who could run the ball. And that's what he was.
I personally think the drama is catching up to him. It may have festered a little bit last year, but this year it just seems like it's an overdrive. And anytime you pull up the news, you're just reading about, player 1, player 2, player 3. I mean, if you're Sirianni, I mean, it's every day you're driving into work and you're like, what am I going to have to deal with today that is not football related?
I feel like he's part of it. Is he not?
He jumps in. Yeah.
I feel
he
like,
jumps in. I agree, but he still has to deal with it all.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
When you make the Kool-Aid and you drinking the Kool-Aid.
Thinking about something. Jamil's thinking about
It's
something.
a part of the culture.
I think that there has been questions around how good of a coach he is, right? I mean, especially when he got the job, people were kind of shocked in terms of his resume and then being, the head coach. Obviously, they go on to win the Super Bowl. They've done some great things, and so it gets validated, right? But I do think within the parameters of that, he's always leaned into the I don't want to say arrogance of, his position, but he's allowed that to be kind of his security blanket. And like, this is just what we do. But then when it catches up to you, it's a different story.
Yep.
Right. They're 8-3 now. So they've lost 3 games. And it's not as hot as it should be, but those type of things, they do build up and they can tear a good team down if the head coach who is supposed to instill culture does not get that out of the locker room right away.
Well, yeah. I mean, just remember, they lost that Super Bowl, 3 years ago? And they were fixing to run them out of town the following year. Mm-hmm. Both coordinators left. You got Vic and Kellen, for the Saints now, and they rolled to the Super Bowl. Now they lost, him, and they replaced him, and the offense ain't doing well. Kind of like it was 2 years previously, after the Super Bowl loss, until they brought him in. So, it's the ups and downs. It's hard to go back to back now. In the NFL.
That is true.
It's always that. It seems like everybody get coming off that high, and we won it, or lackadaisical. You come in, you think, just roll the ball out there with the mighty Eagles. Here we go. Everybody's gonna be scared of us, and you get punched in the mouth, and now we ain't scared of you.
They started the year saying this isn't the same team that's not going to win us the same Super Bowl. So it comes through. Everybody knows you got to go through that adversity at some point throughout the season, and they're sure as hell going through theirs. Another team on the other side, a Super Bowl favorite coming into the year, the Buffalo Bills. And this is what I was saying, man. I wish my man Jerry was on here.
Why didn't he show up today?
I wonder.
The only reason I put it on here, man. God, no, man. It's like, man, we know it's conditioning day. Jerry ain't here for the conditioning test. They dropped the daggum ball against the Texans. Will Anderson Jr. just had a day all by himself, but they put pressure on Josh Allen, got a big win, 23-19 over the Bills. We're worried about Philly. Are you worried about Buffalo? Mark?
Yes, I'm always worried about Buffalo. Even though Buffalo's defense to me is garbage, their offense is always good. And if Buffalo gets into the playoffs, they are a legitimate shot as well. It's just the fact that game against Houston, they lost to Houston to a backup quarterback. Is it Will Allen is his name? What is his name?
Davis Mills.
David Mills, yeah.
Mills. Yeah, that's I know he was a starter at one point, but he's still a backup. And the way they beat Buffalo physically was alarming. And Buffalo's defense to me is that physical anyway. But they didn't give a damn. They mauled Buffalo. And that shocked me. And it's weird because, guys, we all played, and sometimes some teams match up with other teams. Buffalo always matches up well with Kansas City, and Kansas City always matches up well with Baltimore. Just weird. And then you see this matchup, Buffalo and Houston, and you would think, oh, man, Buffalo's going to kill Houston. Unbelievable, just the other way around. But, yeah, Buffalo, they're still formidable. They'll be okay. It's just there are ways to beat them physically, and I think Houston showed it.
I feel like you're playing up or down to your opponent in a sense. Jamil?
I'm a little worried about Buffalo. I think this game was the first time that I saw their offensive line really get just manhandled. Both tackles who Buffalo has a lot of pride in, Deion Dawkins, Spencer Brown. And then from the interior side of the pocket, they were getting pushed back as well. And so I'm a little worried because obviously we know they're so dependent on Josh Allen. Well, if you can get after Josh Allen, and we know there's times where he'll make those magical plays, but if you can have the proper rush lanes and get after him, you see kind of what the result may be. Now we know Buffalo's dangerous. They can put up 50 points in a span of, however many minutes you want to call it. But I'm a little worried because they don't have a good defense this year. And if you can't protect Josh Allen, I just don't think that your chances in the playoffs become slim considering who you're going to be playing against.
Now, I will say, for jumping in, since I got the schedules rolling, the Bills play against the Steelers, the Bengals, the Patriots, which is another one you got to circle on the road to the Patriots, a physical team. The Browns, Shedeur Sanders, you never know, you might have some extra magic there right before Christmas. The game
that
against
defense
the
is
Eagles.
good in Cleveland.
That part, the defense is good in Cleveland. The Eagles go see the Bills on December 28th, and then they finish up with the Jets. Aaron Glenn may say, you know what, I'm ruining the start of 2026 for somebody, right? We're going to get something right today. You never know what's going to happen, man. You never know.
If I'm going home, I'm taking somebody with me.
Right? I'm leaving here with something. I don't care. You didn't give me oh, gosh. That got me tickled.
Oh, man.
What worries me about the Bills is Josh is trying to do too much, though, too. Like on that one sack that Anderson had, the dude ran 51 yards to catch him.
Yeah.
Throw the ball away and move on to the next play. Don't take an 18-yard loss on it like he did. That
you can't
concerns me that he's
point.
trying to do too much and trying to be Superman when you just got to play the game.
The way their playoffs is looking, the way the playoffs are looking out for the AFC, that he needs to make much better decisions. All of the teams do. Oh my goodness, y'all got me tickled. This is a sidebar. I saw a clip of this guy who was a Philly fan, and he was so upset when they dropped that game. It had me crying tears. I'll send it to y'all in the email when it's done. It is hilarious. It's good for your soul, Mark. Like, if you need a good laugh, I got a screenshot just on my phone. I swiped to it.
Send it to me, man. Send it to him.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Oh, man. Let's finish this thing up. A couple minutes on this. Thursday, Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody listening.
You as well?
Appreciate it.
Indeed. Has anybody, I know I've had to practice on Thanksgiving. What are your Thanksgiving memories? I know it's always circled. You play Thanksgiving with the family, sit down and watch some Thanksgiving. Now they got 3 games going on Thanksgiving. Starting out, this Z. You ever been on Thanksgiving? What you got?
Yeah, I played both in Dallas and in Detroit on Thanksgiving throughout my career. I loved it. See, that's what I miss about playing and coaching. Now I'm stuck here in Chicago with my family for Thanksgiving the first time in 30 years. Not looking forward to it. You know what I mean? I like being on my little island for holidays. You got that Easter, we still got like practice going, I always would say. So I never had to come home and see my family. I barely even know my family up here. You know? I got to sit here a whole day, and they're going to sit there and be talking football. I'm like, oh, God. I'm sure quarterbacks, here we go. You know, I'm like, oh, there's not enough vodka in the world to get me through Thanksgiving.
Will you please just take some notes of the off the wall analysis that you get and just report back? Because I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll be like, that isn't even accurate, but I'm gonna keep that in my pocket.
I know.
Oh, man.
So,
Jamil.
No, like I said, I always love playing on it because everybody's watching, especially when there was just the 2 games, and everybody was glued to their seats, both in football, out of football. You'd be sitting there, and it was a great time. Then you get another mini bye too, which was great.
Yeah. No, I think I've never played on Thanksgiving, but always, whether practice or being in a hotel, whatever the case may be, the hardest part, like you said, is now that I'm done playing and I get to watch the games with family members, I just hear the most outlandish things in terms of this game is fixed, or things like that. And it's just like, guys, it doesn't work like that, or why are they running the ball? They should be. It's just like, can you just sit and watch the game? That's the hardest part for me, because I have to bite my tongue. And you get to hear certain family members say certain things. It's just not right. But I enjoy the games now. When there's not a lot of chirping around it, I enjoy, the smell of the food being cooked, and I'm just kicking back watching the games, and it kind of brings me back to when I was a little kid watching games. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, Brad, what about you? I'm sure you did, huh?
I've been very, very fortunate to take part in 9 or 10 Thanksgiving Day games as a player and a coach. And
you don't know your family either.
But there's nothing better than coming home after a victory, sitting around deep frying a turkey, smoking a cigar.
Love a deep fried turkey now, Brad.
Yeah. Oh, you can't beat it. And then putting on the afternoon game and just taking a deep breath and just enjoying the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And because you can get to the film the next day, but with the Detroit Lions always playing the early game, you knew you were going to be home probably 4:30, 5 o'clock, somewhere around there. So you had the rest of the night to enjoy. And that's really my most lasting memory coming through.
I love it. Mark,
Yeah.
what about you?
I played in 2. In Kansas City, we played Dallas on Thanksgiving, and we played. Can't say it again. And we played Detroit on Thanksgiving, and I think it's fun. The best part is after the game, we won 1-1, lost 1. Is you got that 10 days off after the game. You're off, so you just kick back. You win. The coach gives you 2 or 3 days off, whatever. But here's the biggest stat of my life plan. On Thanksgiving, we're playing in Detroit. What's his name? Scott Mitchell tosses the ball to Barry Sanders. I'm at safety now. I'm going, okay, I'm going to come up and get him. I said, wait a minute. Barry's running backwards. Nobody's close to him, right? And I'm going, he's going to throw the ball. Sure enough, he throws the ball. I got an interception.
Let's go, Mark.
I intercepted Barry Sanders. That's the highlight of my career.
That's all you need right there. That's all you need.
Yeah, on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Look at you. Run that clip. When y'all cut this out, put that clip up there.
It's there. It's on
so
YouTube.
we can see it. Mark Collins intercepting Barry Sanders. Something that you never thought. That's right there is a bar bet right there, man. Guess who intercepted Barry Sanders on Thanksgiving? I don't know. Mark Collins. Get yourself a free beer on that one. I never played on Thanksgiving, but I did practice on Thanksgiving. It was Mike Shanahan had us come in early on Thanksgiving and then was like, hey, get out of here. Go spend time with your families. One of the biggest things and the most important things is when everybody gets to, invite the players who don't have family nearby, right? Like, hey, man, bring the rookie and bring this guy. And that's like maybe the one time you get to hang out with a vet. You're like, hey, this guy's actually really a nice person when I get to go to his big ass house and eat his food. But I appreciate that. So I will say this, happy Thanksgiving to all of y'all. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody listening. Appreciate y'all staying tuned. And I've gotten some pretty good feedback from other folks who've tapped in and listened to the show and watched the show on YouTube. So appreciate y'all for doing that and keep up the damn good work. I will say this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. So make sure you download that Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in your lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And then also go YouTube Mark Collins interception on Turkey Day. Yes, indeed. So for all these folks you see on this screen, I'm Anthony Armstrong. This is the Players Squad Show. Y'all be good.